This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Let's get the latest update with the Micah Parsons holdout contract situation. Not a day goes by that Jerry Jones isn't afraid to talk about this. That's what we like about Jerry, okay? So here's the latest one. Apparently, Jerry Jones thought that he had a deal done with Micah Parsons. Not a pen, not a sheet of paper, not a DocuSign. A handshake and a look in the eye.
Newswire. Only on Sport.
I was that confused trying to figure out why Cameron Young isn't as good as he should be, because we've seen all the flashes. Like at some point of his career, he's been elite at something. Like he's been elite at putting this year. He's been an elite iron player. He's been an elite driver of the golf ball. So check out this chart I had to get.
We got a chart.
Look at this chart that I had to come up with.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
It was already pretty solid up top, but you had the bottom that's that much better with Ryan O'Hearn and Lariano. Like, we now have a well-rounded lineup on top of a great pitching staff. Michael King is expected to start making his rehab starts. So you have him plus Pivetta plus Dylan Cease. You Darvish is back. You have the frontline pitching, the depth in the lineup, and now a great bullpen. You have it all.
I really like it. Like I do. Like sometimes I get caught up in the Padres because of what they can be.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Paramount becomes the new home of UFC in a new $7.7 billion deal. Plus, is the NFL worried President Trump could sink their ESPN deal? Hi, everyone, and welcome to Front Office Sports Today from FOS Studios here in New York City. I'm Baker Machado.
And I'm Renee Washington. Happy to be back alongside you, Baker. And thank you guys for joining us each and every weekday as we chat the biggest stories in the business and culture of sports. We also have Saints All-Pro safety JT Gray on later to talk the rash of injuries we're seeing in the NFL. But first, let's dive right into the shoot-around.
Yeah, indeed. And let's start in the NBA, Renee, as the first game on NBC in 23 years. Going to see the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder open this season against Kevin Durant and the new-look Houston Rockets. This on October the 21st. The opening doubleheader will also see Golden State play against the Lakers as well. Meanwhile, the 5 Christmas Day games on ESPN and ABC will be headlined by Cleveland playing the Knicks at the Garden, Wemby and the Spurs playing the Thunder, and Minnesota will be visiting Denver. So Renee, these are pretty good. What do we think of these matchups?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the NBA in the midst of changing on the media side, but nothing is changing in terms of these marquee events. Opening Day, Christmas Day, 2 of the biggest days of the NBA season, and all 4 teams that you see on the opening day slate also on Christmas Day, as you mentioned. But what I thoroughly enjoyed about looking at this list is you get a mixture. It's LeBron and Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, some of the veteran OGs, so to speak, but it's the younger guys. You know, OKC was a team that did not have a Christmas game last year, but they get that opportunity. You get Anthony Edwards, you get Cooper Flag on Christmas Day. But it is also, there are some teams not there. The Boston Celtics, the first time since like 2016, because of course Jason Tatum, his Achilles, they're not there. The Bucks, because where is Giannis actually going to be playing next year? Will he be in Milwaukee? We don't know. And even the Pacers after their run in the NBA Finals. So I think the NBA got this slate right of teams we know should be good, fun teams to watch come Christmas Day and opening.
And by the way, that Cleveland game against the Knicks, the first time the Cavs have played on Christmas Day since LeBron played for the Cavs. All right, let's move to MLS. As former Tottenham Hotspur star Son Heung-min made his LAFC debut Saturday. That's to a near sellout crowd in Chicago. And this just days after he became the most expensive transfer in MLS history. Son's $26.5 million transfer fee broke the MLS record that was set back in February. That's when Atlanta United paid $22 million to acquire Emmanuel Latte-Lat from Middlesbrough FC. So a big deal here, and it's clear he's going to have a big future with LAFC.
This is big for a number of reasons. LAFC came into this season as the highest valuation team across MLS and one of the top 15 across the world. And they at the time had a Dennis Bouanga, who was the highest, making about $3 million guaranteed money each year. And now you look at adding someone like Son Heung-min to that, raises the bar not only for LAFC, but also for Major League Soccer. I mean, we're talking the third record-setting transfer fee this season, which just shows the impact and investment in bringing in top players. Because when you bring in someone like South Korean, top Asian player of all time, top 20 in goals and assists in Premier League in history, to Major League Soccer, that's when you get a sellout crowd. Chicago has been bottom third across the league in attendance consistently every year. They haven't been a playoff team, I think, once in the last like 7 seasons. So that's not the draw. It is him. He brings in Tottenham fans. He brings in Asian and specifically South Korean fans, and also just shows the league as another opportunity for a big face that you can catch right in our own backyard. All
right, let's move to the NFL. Ahead of its 32nd season, Fox says Rob Gronkowski going to replace Hall of Fame coach Jimmy Johnson on their NFL Sunday studio show. He'll join Kurt Menefee, Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, and Michael Strahan. Now, with Johnson's departure, Bradshaw and Howie Long are the last remaining members of Fox's original 1994 studio team.
And that's key. It's time to get younger. I love that crew. They're fantastic to watch in all their NFL coverage, but Gronk brings you personality. He brings you high energy. He brings you a whole new era. And ever since we first saw him in the 2019 first retirement and then his official debut in 2022 once he retired again, Gronk has brought a different life to the show. And I think that we've also seen him progressing in his on-air role. So it feels like the right time for him to make that move to be a part of this cast consistently full-time, and also big shoes to fill with Jimmy Johnson.
Very big. Well, just days after its merger with Skydance was finalized, Paramount made its first big deal, acquiring U.S. media rights for UFC on a 7-year, $7.7 billion agreement. This will see Paramount Plus and CBS air marquee events and fight nights starting in 2026. This will also end UFC's long-standing pay-per-view model with ESPN as well. So let's dive into this more in our main event. All right, and let's bring in Mark Shapiro, the president and COO of TKO, of course, the group that owns UFC. Mark, congratulations on this news. So tell us about how this deal with Paramount came to be and why Paramount.
Thanks. Good to be here. Big combination of reasons, I would say. First of all, very hyper-competitive process, both linear and non-linear. But at the end of the day, it hit the two main priorities for us. Paramount Plus hit that in the sense that, yes, we're monetizing the value of our rights, Baker, but at the same time, we are maximizing the opportunity for the growth of our brand and audience with Paramount Plus and CBS. 77 million homes on Paramount Plus, CBS broadcast network steeped in sports tradition and history. And I mean, I grew up watching the NFL today on CBS, and there's still a big player in that space, whether it's the Final Four, the Masters, NFL Super Bowl, UEFA. They're around and going to be around for a long time. And we wanted to maximize reach while at the same time maximizing our rights.
And also at this time, Mark, it feels like we're seeing so many traditional combat sports, wrestling, boxing, UFC, that are moving away from pay-per-view to now being on another network, ESPN, Paramount. When you look at this deal, what was the driving factor to make that switch? And is that something that you think is going to become the norm to the point that maybe pay-per-view doesn't even have as much of a presence as it has in the past?
You know, I never say never, Renee, about something going away or even something coming back. But for time and place, for us, pay-per-view is an antiquated model. In fact, it was a barrier, right? In order to watch UFC's premium content, our pay-per-views, which are once a month, our numbered events, as we call them, you had to pay $11.99 to get ESPN Plus, and then every month pay $80+ to get the pay-per-view event. Now, look, all good. We knew what we were walking into, and as ESPN Plus was building, we signed up for their strategy, and ESPN and the Walt Disney Company was as good a partner as you're ever going to find. But as we look at the next stage of our growth and the audience that we know is out there globally, young men, diverse, and the fact that we're year-round, we really believed we were a formula for success when it comes to driving sub-acquisition, which is Paramount Plus, and also an antidote to churn. And the CBS throw-in gave us a chance to get the reach, which is really what we need at this stage.
Mark, we've seen so much media consolidation of late, and really since the TKO merger, we're now really seeing UFC and WWE really sort of branded under one roof with TKO. How has that really sort of shaped your vision going forward and has sort of helped you with a lot of these distribution deals?
Look, we're maximizing place and time, truly. I mean, combat sports, as you said, it's really hot right now. On the UFC side, still comes back to growing our audience and making sure our premium content gets in front of as many eyeballs as it can in the most easy way. UFC, we have WWE, we have the professional bull riding, and boxing will become our fourth sports tentpole. And we're working with our friends in Saudi and, of course, our friends around the country with regard to promoters and fighters and our bench to really get that off the ground. And we expect to launch that in first or second quarter next year. And we will have an announcement about our distribution partner in fairly short order.
Yeah, in the final 30 seconds we have with you, Mark, you've hinted at so much growth. And with this 7-year deal, you also see financially that it doubles what you guys had previously. It's giving you more opportunity. Is there also opportunity to grow internationally or in other areas that maybe you guys are looking to maximize with this deal?
Yeah, great question. Let me remind you this, Renee. We are right now telecast or streamed in 210 countries around the world, in 50 different languages. We have 600 men and women that fight for the UFC that hail from 75 countries. So this is why we bought and acquired IMG 6 months ago. They are the leader, by far the industry leader in media distribution around the globe. They distribute 150 properties around the globe. NFL, golf, soccer. I mean, just go about your business. UFC, WWE, like that is their business. They're the leader, they're the pioneer in doing that. And we're excited that we're going to retain our international rights so they can continue to distribute that territory by territory, maximizing viewership and audience, and also reaching some new fans that haven't had a chance yet to sample UFC.
Either way, big news, Mark, on this. Congratulations to you and your entire team for putting this all together. Mark Shapiro, the president and COO of TKO Holdings. And coming up, Saints All-Pro safety JT Gray joins me and Renee to talk more about the upcoming NFL season when we return after this.
Vegas knows how to celebrate. If you're headed to Vegas for your birthday, plan ahead to get all the birthday freebies the city has to offer. Just by showing your ID, you could get free cash play, scratch cards, drinks, and food at various venues on the Strip. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
We don't care where you were drafted. You outperform somebody, you're going to be on that football field. Now, again, there are extenuating circumstances where he drafted quarterback number 3 overall. Yeah, they're going to try him out for the next 3 to 4 years, even if he's not as good as anybody on that roster. But from Shadur's perspective, that's probably the case. Tyler Huntley, Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of names on that list, not a lot of good names on that list, so he can earn a job on this football team.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Joey Ohtani's only seen him 7 times, 7 at-bats. He's got a home run against him. I've been pretty good at jumping in and out with Ohtani. I don't take him to hit a home run every day. The odds are good enough tonight, Scott, at plus 230 to entice me. I've got a bet on Ohtani's season home run prop at 43.5, which, he's nearly there.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Jalen Lane, 4th-round receiver from Virginia Tech, who's a dynamic slot receiver. Run after the catch. He's had a phenomenal camp. Really great offseason. He is really gifted. And obviously with McLaurin not practicing, he's getting a lot more of a look. Right. Now, the problem is, without McLaurin, they're not very deep at the outside receiver position. But Jalen Lane is a stud talent. I'm telling you, this kid should have gone higher.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back, everyone, to Front Office Sports Today with Renee Washington. I'm Baker Machado, and Saints 3-time All-Pro safety JT Gray coming off arguably one of his best seasons of his career, leading the NFL last season with 25 special teams tackles, showing the significance and the importance of special teams play. So what does he think of his team's chances this upcoming season and the rash of injuries we're seeing right now in the NFL? Let's bring in JT Gray. JT, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you for having me, man.
Well, so let's talk about you first. I know you've been dealing with a hamstring injury. You just got back to practice. I'm curious, how are you feeling right now, and what do you make of all these injuries we're seeing at the start of the NFL preseason?
I'm feeling great, rehabbing and coming back in on time and fashion. But it's just the nature of the game. Like with injuries going around, players just have to find their routine and just get back as quick as they can and try to, do the exercises to prevent these injuries. But some of them, you can't even run away from. It just happens. It's just a part of the game.
Yeah, it's definitely a part of the game, obviously physically taxing, especially when you look at all three phases of the game, just how different your roles are, different your positions are. Something I'm curious, though, as a special teams player, in terms of recognition and compensation, it's not always there. I mean, of the historic non-quarterback contracts you've seen, someone like, a TJ Watt who gets that 3-year, $123 million extension, that's setting records for non-quarterbacks. But then on the other side, for special teams, the highest that we've seen this summer, Kevontae Turpin of the Cowboys got a 3-year, $18 million deal. Massive difference in terms of pay. How hard is it to get paid and the recognition you deserve when you're a part of special teams in the NFL?
I say it's hard to get paid anywhere. You just got to work hard, you know what I mean? And just going out there and showing up and being consistent, your daily habits is going to show on that pay grade.
Well, to that point, tell us more about why special teams are so important. Look, we know the kickoffs are important.
Yes.
We know how much they make in terms of a win and a loss for a season. But just tell us why special teams are such an important part for a team to win.
So I can just provide you an example by if you watched the game yesterday, we punted the ball and the punt returner muffed the ball. So we initially got that ball on their side of the field, which all we had to do was just throw the ball in the end zone. So that's right there is a huge flip in field position. And second half, they muffed the ball again, and we got the ball again. So that was two big plays that happened that flipped field position for our offense to go in and strike and get a quick 7 points. And in the regular season, when those type of plays happen, those change the momentum and change the win percentage by a large margin.
Definitely. Field position obviously is huge, being able to make the big play. And I'm curious, as we are getting into this season with your new first-year head coach, Kellen Moore, who as an Eagles fan, I guess I can say this too, and I feel like we're still friends. Sad to see him leave Philly, but go to you guys. You guys have young quarterback room, a new head coach, a lot of changes going on with this team as a team that right now might be under the radar. No primetime games for the first time in 25 years. What are you seeing so far in training camp behind the scenes of what Kellen Moore is implementing with the Saints?
I feel like what we implementing is everybody's just standing together, having fun with it. We know it's going to be challenges, and just sticking through this and making sure that everybody is creating that bond. So when it's time to go out there and fight for one another, we just, we going out there a little bit more harder, and we're holding each and every one accountable. We're holding ourselves accountable, and that's what we really doing right now as a team, and just coming together, building that chemistry.
JT, this is the second season we've had this new kickoff rule, in the NFL. I'm curious, as somebody who has played special teams, basically grew up and played the old way that the kickoffs used to be. I'm curious what your thoughts are of this kickoff rule that's changed, and how has your role been different because of that?
It's been different because you get a large amount of returns now. And with them changing it to the touchback being to the 35, you're going to get even more action. So I feel like that's as a pro for guys like me and guys that want to go out there and make plays. And it's an opportunity for the fans to get to see something exciting each and every intro of the game.
Now, with the kickoff rule and other rule changes, whether they've been passed or haven't, such as the tush push, there's been all these conversations to try to make the game safer. We did see less concussions this past season. We have seen less on the safety aspect in terms of health and player safety. When you look as a player, though, with these rules, although some of them are safer, do you feel that difference in terms of the physical improvements that it helps with you as a player? Do you feel the change on the field and with your body in terms of recovery with some of these rules?
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially on the defense side, I feel like they want to. They make these rules to change the trajectory of the defense and how physical the guys play on the defensive side. I feel like the rules never are in favor with the defense, which is, I don't know, it's hard for me to say, you know what I mean? Because it's only one way to play defense, and it's physical. So you're taking the physical aspect away from it, and I feel like some rules could be changed up a little bit more, a little bit differently, but everybody had his opinion, but that's just mine.
JT, the Saints coming into this season are one of 3 teams that have no national television games, joining the Titans and the Browns. I guess as a player, do you have an extra chip on your shoulder because a lot of us from the national media are not going to be able to watch a lot of these Saints games?
I feel like we just focusing on the inside the room right now, and everything outside of the room really doesn't matter because we know what we can do, and we just got to go out there and execute the show.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a new era that's being ushered in New Orleans with you guys. And to Baker's points, without primetime games or even this large international slate, you guys not having an opportunity to participate in that, I've heard that the Saints are hungrier than ever, though, this season. What's that chemistry, that's hunger that you're seeing in training camp? You touched on a little bit earlier, especially since you're one of the OGs and veterans, I guess you can call you. What is that hunger that you guys are seeing in the locker room right now?
Like I said, you see guys that's in there that are ready. You know what I mean? Young guys ready to go out there and go make plays. If you've seen the game yesterday, you see guys out there flying around. You see guys out there with high energy and effort, and that's one attribute that you want from your player. All we have to do is just put all of that together, and you have a great combination for success. And I feel like we are on the right track for all of that to happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, indeed. Really quickly before we get you out of here, Saints, you guys making the playoffs this year. What's sort of your expectation for the season?
My expectation is to win the Super Bowl. That's always the standard.
Period. You go into the season to win Super Bowl. That's it. Thank you, JT.
Yeah. That's the quote I was looking for. That's the quote I was looking for. JT Gray, thank you so much for joining us. We got a lot more Front Office Sports today headed your way right after this quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So, if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
At a 30 teams game, only 10 have a winning record against left-handed pitchers. 10-19, and there's one team that's 12-12.
See, I think
it's the Yankees.
Yeah. See, I didn't know the exact number, Scott, but I would have, I knew where you were going with this. In which there's just not as many left-handed hitters. They're not as good against them.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You have to imagine it'll be Rory and Tommy. So that is just such a strong foursomes pairing. And then I look over here at the Americans. I'm like, golly, if Patrick Cantlay, they just need him to make the team because you got Scotty and Russell. If Xander's going out, you have to him and Pat have been so good in the foursomes. Bryson's going to have to play. Who's he going to play with?
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back, everyone, to Front Office Sports Today with Renee Washington, Anya Baker, Machado. Well, just days after announcing its big deal with ESPN, this will see the worldwide leader acquire the rights to NFL Red Zone and NFL Network. Reuters now reporting that the NFL has reached out to numerous congressional offices, all to gain support in Washington for the proposed sale. Now, what exactly is going to happen with this? And will President Trump scuttle the deal? Let's bring in FOS Deals reporter and author of the Asset Class newsletter, Ben Horney. So, Ben, tell us more about what the NFL is doing here, and will we actually see this deal go through?
Yeah, so the deal was announced with lots of fanfare early last week, and it had been rumored, but it came as a bit of a surprise right before the Disney earnings call. ESPN is owned by Disney. Under the deal, the NFL is taking a 10% equity stake in ESPN, and they're getting further in bed with regard to the media rights in terms of how many games, NFL games, ESPN is going to run. The two companies have been championing it as a win for consumers, but behind the scenes, as you just noted, Reuters reported that they've already reached out to 30 congressional offices to try to tout the consumer benefits of the deal, and that is the sort of lobbying action that is occurring, when you think you need to convince people.
So is this concerning then, Ben? Because we haven't heard the terms of the deal. We're hearing about all this other behind the scenes that could delay the process. Are there concerns that maybe this deal with all the fanfare is not going to fully happen?
So we're not at that point yet. I think it would be a little bit of a stretch to say that the deal's in danger necessarily, but it does face a long road to approval. The first thing is that they announced it as a non-binding agreement, which isn't unusual from what I hear. But what it means is that it's not a definitive agreement yet. So they've announced it, and now they're going back to the negotiating table to negotiate the actual definitive terms. So as far as when even they will have a definitive deal, we don't know that yet. And then it's the sort of deal that experts tell me is very likely to face antitrust scrutiny, and it's going to trigger the Hart-Scott-Rodino Act, I believe is what it's called, which is a federal law that allows regulators to look at deals like this and see if they need to be blocked for anti-competitive reasons. And, depending on who you ask, there are reasons to believe that this isn't, again, the super positive, beneficial for consumers deal that the leagues and ESPN are trying to say.
And outside even the regulatory hurdles, there's another big part in this, and that's President Donald Trump, given the fact that he had basically asked for a lot of commissions in the deal with the Skydance Paramount deal. What are the chances that President Trump scuttles the deal, even though we've seen Roger Goodell and Bob Iger both meeting with the White House?
Yeah, so, in speaking to experts, it's funny, the common refrain that you hear is that it's really just unpredictable what Trump might do. Could he get involved? Sure. He recently, for reasons that are not clear, decided to wade into the Washington Commanders stadium situation and said that they should change their name back, which I don't know who was even fighting for that. But that said, Trump has a long history with the NFL. He's tried and failed to buy into the league a few times. He did announce earlier this year that they're going to hold the 2027 draft in DC. So that made it seem like some of the ice might have been thawing. But experts are not sure. And if, we previously reported that this is the sort of thing that would be political catnip for Trump. So I could easily see him getting involved.
Well, as we get into the final 30 seconds, Ben, of course, this deal is expected to start in 2026. But what is the timeline in your knowledge of what you do know for when this deal will actually be officially done to roll out?
Well, from everything we hear, the review process could take as long as a year. So that's 12 months from now. That takes us to next summer. So perhaps they could be ready to rock by September of next year. So that's possible. But again, they still have to reach definitive terms. And obviously there's going to be pushback. It remains to be seen. All
right. Well, I feel like we're just getting started with this story. Ben Horney, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, you can sign up for Ben's newsletter, The Asset Class, on frontofficesports.com. All right, let's see what's bubbling over at the FOS water cooler. Well, Renee, Caitlin Clark doesn't even have to enter a game to continue to break records, as yet another rookie card of hers sold at auction for over $317,000. That's the third highest sale for any Clark card, and now the 11th public sale of an item of hers over $100K.
Well, it's because everything Caitlin Clark's involved with has record-setting contention as we talk about with the rookie cards, as we've talked about with so many other things, attendance, TV ratings, everything that Caitlin Clark touches turns to gold, essentially.
Right.
So to hear her on the bird's eye view talking with Sue Bird about it, I took that as this is a 23-year-old that understands her role in the WNBA as one of the many and definitely the biggest face of the league, that even if she's not playing, she still owes it to her fans to be there. And I like that she said, I'll be at away games, I'll still be signing autographs, I'll still make time for fans, because you do get on the basketball side, of course, missing 13 of the Fever's 32 games. That's obviously impacted them in terms of X's and O's and results. But on the other side, you're still capturing that moment with fans where you can still connect with them. And especially for that next generation of young fans, I love that Caitlin was so vulnerable and
I was about to
openly saying that.
Say the same thing. The vulnerability of knowing that all of this pressure of you being the face of the league or helping the league out with ratings or being this transformative figure in the league, you got to think that that's got to get to somebody after a while, especially given all the injuries that they have. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Renee and I will be back here for more fun tomorrow. See you later.